So the logo is there and people can hear us talk as we get ready to go. All right. Are we ready for the big episode 100?
Yep.
All right, I love the enthusiasm. Let's do it. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Geekodrome. Geekodrome is the long-running weekly roundtable discussion of all things geek. I am John, and I am joined for the 100th time by the Italian-American dream, Jon Stugots.
What's up?
Not much. It's hard to believe we've now done this 100 times. You know?
If we had a listener for every show.
Well, we do have at least one listener for every show, but not cumulative.
No, sometimes it's the same listener for every show.
Mm.
Yeah.
I see our numbers. I know exactly how many people are listening to every show.
And for the dozen and dozen of the show listeners and watchers, thank you for coming along on this ride.
We appreciate each and every listener.
Every single one.
Yes. I mean, did you think we'd even be here, 100 episodes later?
No.
Is
our listenership the same now as it was week one? I have a feeling that it's worse than week one.
It is better than week one. It is most definitely better than week one.
Oh. Okay.
But certain episodes have done better than others. Certain episodes have. I believe we have a couple episodes that have reached the triple digits. But our consistency. We're working on it. We got some big things planned after episode 100. They just got delayed by, life. As you and I, we're doing things in our lives that postponed and, forced us to... What was that?
Apparently it was my laptop notifying me that I took it off the Wi-Fi.
Your laptop is hungry
for Wi-Fi,
apparently. For Wi-Fi, yes.
And I took it off to make sure that I have a better connection on the iPad so that, for the show.
Of course. Oh, I forgot to transition the video. That's good. Yeah. So people were just looking at our logo and not us. It's okay. There's only 1 or 2 people watching live right now because the Oscars are on. And it's tough to compete against the Oscars, even though neither of us watch it.
Yeah, I mean, even though I did watch almost every Oscar-nominated film, I'm just not a fan of the Oscars. Because they do stupid shit, this year they fired Kevin Hart from being the host, but then they asked his best friend, The Rock, to host, as if that was going to happen. And I feel like every year they do something stupid associated with it. Like this year, apparently they left Stan Lee out of the memoriam that they do.
A tragedy. Yeah, I mean, admittedly, Stan isn't necessarily a movie guy, but...
Right, I know you say that, but break it down, though. A character he created, right? A movie from a character he created won an Oscar tonight, okay? Right. The characters that he's created over the years, right, 2 Oscars, that he's created over the years have generated billions and billions of dollars in the last 10 years alone for the movie industry.
And he's listed as a producer on each and every one of those movies.
And every one of them. So he's not a movie guy. He has a star on the Walk of Fame. He's created characters that have generated billions of dollars for the movie industry. And communities across the country, because a movie doesn't just generate box office; it generates jobs locally, like in movie theaters and whatnot. So, how do you not honor that man and put him in there? Like that, to me, that makes him a movie guy. He might not have set out to be a movie guy, but he's a movie guy.
No, I'm not disagreeing. I definitely think he should have been in there. It's a tragedy that he's not. Even though, say, Steve Ditko, who co-created Spider-Man, He passed away also last year, but
Yeah, like not too long before. What was it? Right before Stanley, or like right after? It was like
uh,
around the same exact time.
about a month before, I want to say.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a month or two before. So it was a little before. And he was definitely not a movie guy per se. Um, and I can understand the Oscars not leaving him in. But the fact that Stan is in each and one of
In
these.
and he's in these movies. He was a
Yeah.
Screen Actors Guild card member.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you don't include him.
He had all these cameos. He had, his performance in Mallrats with, that lovely Kevin Smith movie. Um, he's been in movies for the past 20 to 30 years. Never mind just being the mind behind a lot of these creations.
Right.
So, but Black Panther became the first Marvel Oscar ever with the costuming award. And then Spider-Man soon after with Into the Spider-Verse, Best Animated. So, Marvel's getting their first two Oscars now. Unfortunately, Stan wasn't here to see it.
Yeah.
But hopefully there'll be more. As far as I've been
I
watching.
I think like even as a society, we don't do enough to honor the people that we enjoy the work of while they're alive, and then we do an even worse job of it once they're gone.
Oh,
You
I
know,
agree. Definitely.
the last time that Willie Nelson will be performing in the Tampa Bay area is at the Strawberry Festival in Lakeland in like the next 2 weeks. It's a nothing like it's a big deal to the strawberry growers community. They sell a ton of strawberries, and it's like a state fair, feel to it. There's rides and there's food and everything. I think more people go to that than they actually go to the Florida State Fair. But the dude should be selling out Emily Arena. You know what I mean? He could be putting on a concert at Raymond James Stadium that'll hold 50,000 people. He's going to the Strawberry Festival, and it's not selling out.
How is that
And it
possible?
and it's like $30 a ticket. Like I'm working, so I can't go. But if I wasn't working, we would be going. It's the last time he's probably ever going to be in this area.
Really? Is he retiring or?
No, he's just old, super
Okay.
old, and like how much longer could he be doing this? Being out on the road around the clock the way that he is. Sooner or later the body just says, it's enough.
I get that. You know, you get to that age. I mean, we lost Peter Tork this week, so there'll be no more monkeys with him. We're down to
Right,
Mickey and Mike.
Mike. Yeah.
I don't know if you're a big Monkeys fan at all, but
No,
I was when I was a kid. It was a fun show, good music, very
it was
poppy.
silly. It was fine. I wasn't, but I just wasn't into that as a kid. But like, it was nothing wrong with it. It wasn't like Menudo. I wasn't, that I was like vehemently against. I was like, this is kind of stupid music. This is pop music. What was it? New Kids on the Block. I was disgusted by that. But the
Agreed.
Monkeys was just like, just not my thing. But I saw the value of it. You know.
Yeah, I mean, and they're really underrated as musicians because they were in this silly TV show.
Yeah.
But it's initially it was this is the corporate stuff, and then the show was on for 3 years, 4 years, and it's about halfway through. Like the guys took more control of the music and stuff, and it becomes more
Yeah.
complex, and it becomes more theirs, and
Right.
it shines, and they're really, I mean, I wouldn't say a step below the Beatles. I wouldn't
Oh,
necessarily say
definitely.
they're the Beatles,
They're not on par with them, but they're.
but they're of
Oh,
that era, and
yeah.
they are definitely an influence, but in a different way because they kind of brought like the video aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like I would say they're the first major ones to be regularly on TV performing music like that in that way. Like you had variety shows and things
Yeah.
like that, but this is very much more scripted and intentionally scripted. Like there was an episode of the Brady Bunch where they had the singing and
Yes.
dancing, and but this they actually just incorporated it into every episode, so it was a different beast. But unfortunately, we lost him, and along with there, it's not like he's going to be mentioned at the Oscars, but hopefully at the Grammys in the
Well,
posthumous.
the Grammys were 2 weeks ago, so
Yeah, but next year.
Yeah, it'll be forgotten by then.
Unfortunately. Yeah,
It's
that's
that weird time right now for a celebrity death.
yeah. You can't die right after the awards, because
Yeah,
then they forget that you died by the
yeah,
next awards.
yep.
But so, what do you think of the Oscars going hostless this year? Since you brought up the Kevin Hart thing and The Rock.
I think I always think that I mean I do think you need a host to kind of steer the show, but I always think that more so in like the last 10, 15 years, they've made it more of a thing where it's like this. I guess Billy Crystal is the reason for it, even though he always did a good job, like making with the host doing big production numbers. And you don't have to do that. Just go out there, you make a few jokes, and introduce the next award. That's all you have to do. I think they've made the host um, job more than what it needs to be, and to the point where it's like, well, then you know what, then you don't need one, and you don't ever need one. Then if you can do it 1 year without it, it's not the first time that they've not had one. Then it's like you could do it every year without one.
Well, in the past, they announced it as multiple hosts.
Yeah, that's always been terrible too.
Yeah, I mean, and really, if you the host just needs to keep it going along. It was Billy Crystal before that. Like they would do like one like joke musical number or something. Like
Yeah.
who can forget the time that we had Rob Lowe with Snow White,
Yes.
and it was just horrible, and Disney threatened to sue them, and all that fun stuff. But it was Billy who kind of did the opening numbers and all of that,
Yes.
and made it a big deal.
Jack Palance would come out and do the one-arm push-up.
Well, that was when he got, what was it, Best Supporting Actor for City
Yes.
Slickers?
Yeah. Yeah. And then he had the
Yeah,
push-ups on stage, but then the next year Billy Crystal hosted, and Jack Palance was brought out just to do the one-arm push-up.
of course. But that's also the difference between having like a stand-up comedian and an actor as your host.
Yeah, yeah. I think if you're gonna have a host, it should be a stand-up comedian. I remember Chevy Chase did it in the past, and he was terrible. I remember Johnny Carson doing it, and he looked uncomfortable all night. But meanwhile, like that was his thing. He was a show host. I'm sure they don't make it easy either. I'm sure that's a big pain in the ass.
Well, Letterman did it, and even he was uncomfortable doing it.
Yeah,
Oprah, Uma. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But yeah, definitely when it's like a stand-up comedian, somebody who can roll with it,
yeah. And
then
work
it
a
works.
craft a little bit.
Yeah. But if it's somebody who needs a script, it's always flat.
Yes,
So, what are you gonna do?
but I
Where?
think Saturday Night Live makes the hosting worse too because that opening monologue now has to be a production with either a song or other the cast members joining in, and it's like just let the guy go, whoever it is, guy, girl, and I say guy, ambiguously, just let the person go up there and just do their thing, and that's it. It doesn't have to be a number or anything to it other than the person talking. You know.
Well, I haven't watched Saturday Night Live in 10 to 15 years, so I honestly don't know what it's like now. But they used to just let the person go up there, do a few
Yeah.
jokes, and get out.
Nope. Now it's like I think it was on Stern show not too long ago. I heard him and Robin were talking about it, and there's like a formula. Like if it's a weak actor, they have the cast come on
Mhm.
to help, and then if it's someone who has like a big personality but not sure what to do with them, then they give them the dance and song number to do.
Okay.
Rather than just it's like no, just go out there and talk. You know what I mean? That's it.
And I guess it's an exception if there's like a stand-up comedian and they just let them do their thing.
Yeah, because like Louis C.K. and Dave Chappelle, when they've been on,
Yeah.
they just did the thing. But again, they can talk for 10 minutes. They know how to deal with like, all right, this joke is not working live right now. Let me pivot without getting that look on their face of, I see what I do. Me, I just be like, well, I don't care. That joke sucked. Let me keep talking here.
Do you remember when Mike Myers, after he'd left the show, came back to host?
No.
Well, there was a joke about, oh, this is just the rehearsal, and then like the voiceover is just like, no, Mike, this is live, and he goes into the and like hits a bladder and pretends to piss his pants.
Yeah, no, not necessary.
Well, it was funny. Again, I'm not
Yeah.
doing it justice, and then again, there was more to it than that, but
Oh.
it was entertaining. I mean,
Maybe the one of the best monologues I've ever seen was the one when Joe Pesci hosted, and Robert De Niro came out and was like talking with him, and then they were walking backstage. They were talking, and like they grabbed Jim Brewer and like beat him up, and
well, that's because they made fun of them for doing the Joe Pesci show.
yes, yeah. So like that all worked,
Yeah.
you know. But
Although the time that they walked onto the Joe Pesci show is still better. But
that's still better, yeah.
do you think he talks like that? I might.
Oh, you
I
think he?
might.
Hey, you think he talks like that? Oh, you think I talk like that? Huh, huh.
But even De Niro was just like, "Yep, I might. I might." Just they were doing their versions of those characters, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it just doesn't appeal to me anymore. Though that show, award shows in general haven't appealed to me in a long time.
I don't remember the last one I watched. I know we used to have a co-host that would get mad at us when we said we had no interest. But,
Yeah. Well, that was 70 episodes ago.
wow.
65. Yeah, her last was episode, I want to say 37.
Wow.
So yeah. And then we weren't sure what we were going to do and kept chugging along. And she's doing her thing, but I don't know because she left Twitter. So,
Yeah.
I have no way of getting in touch with her. I guess I have her email address, but, you know, I don't feel the need
Mm-hmm.
because I don't really need to have prolonged conversations with people who are just trying to antagonize me.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of that. To the point where some friends of ours have told me, yeah, I stopped listening because I don't want to hear old people complain that they're old and that, today's whatever sucks. And I'm like,
There's so much today that doesn't suck, you know?
no, it's the problem. It isn't that it sucks, it's that we grow out of it and it's targeted at younger
Right.
folks.
Right. I see. I mean, we've talked about this before when people start bitching about Star Wars. It's like it's not for 45-year-old people. It's for a 13-year-old to go see and have wonderment, and it's not for us. It's just there. It's just there for us. It's not for us though.
It's still there for us, but it's not targeted at us.
Right.
You
We
know.
can go and consume it, but it's not meant. If we like it, great. And if we don't, they don't care because that 13-year-old liked it.
Yeah. I can't say like I listen to much pop music anymore, although I grew out of that a long time ago. But that's targeted at 13-year-olds.
Right. And for 13-year-olds, it's making a ton of money.
Yeah. Even so, like, I don't even listen to a lot of the newer rock music just because it's not accessible the way it was when I was a kid and I was absorbing everything.
Yeah.
And
Let me tell you, though, a really good modern rock band, Bishop Gunn. I saw them up in Macon, Georgia, back in August, and really good band.
what are they called? The
Bishop Gunn.
Bishop Gun. I am going to write
Yeah.
that down. I'm going to listen to it at work this week on the Spotify.
There's a bunch of new rock music that is coming out. Some from older bands, and some new bands. There's some new bands that really kick ass. A lot of it has like a southern rock feel to it, but like even guys that aren't from the South, they just end up falling in love with that sounds. But a lot of good stuff out there.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt it. It's just once you get to a certain age, you're just not as open to new sounds.
Yeah,
But I'm not one of those people who go, music was better in my day.
yeah.
I understand it. It's just I'm not 13. I'm not 18.
I know you're talking to someone who listens to the same two Gaslight Anthem albums all day long.
I have Spotify, so I listen to a lot of those playlists, and its algorithm feeds me bands I already listened to because I said I like these bands. And the most recent one is probably like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I Coheed and Cambria and My Chemical Romance and bands of that era. And it's just I don't fault current bands for not being what I want to listen to. It's just
No.
they're not what I'm listening to, and it's fine. So, I'm seeing Twitter's responses to the Oscars, and I'm just like, don't care.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious who'll win the best movie because I just don't see Black Panther taking it, but it'll be interesting if it does.
Yeah, but Vice will probably win. or
Yeah.
Roma.
Yeah, Roma's probably got a good chance. It already won Best Foreign,
Mm.
and Best Screenplay went to Green Book. So, Rami Malek took Best Actor. Was Olivia Colman just took Best Actress.
Oh,
So,
cool.
I'm sure we'll find out momentarily.
Yeah.
So this was really, but because it's like leading up to the Oscars, it's really a slow news week.
Yes.
And most of the stuff a couple of the things that hit, we just don't, are the kinds of things we don't like to talk about, like the misogyny towards Captain Marvel coming out next week. But people went to the screenings and said it's fantastic, and I'd rather lean that
Yeah.
way. I am really psyched to see it on the 8th.
I'm excited. We will be seeing it. It comes out the 8th. Let me check my work schedule, because my work schedule just changed for next week.
Okay. Well, we'll be reviewing it.
I will be seeing it Thursday night, the 7th, now that I'm not working on the 7th.
Well, you should go to the fan event then.
What fan event?
Oh, they always do like the first screening is a special. They call it the quote unquote fan event. Have a little intro by the actors. They give you a little token. Like,
Where the
thanks for
hell is
coming.
that?
Same theaters.
Dude, I've been going to. We go to every time there's like a big Marvel movie. We go Thursday night first show.
You got to go to like the 5 o'clock show or something. I don't know.
Well, whatever. There's only one for like first show.
Yeah, that's true. But I see it in my feeds and I go, I'm still at work at that point. So
listen, I'd go if there was something like that. I'd be right there. The kids wouldn't be at school. We'd be there.
Yeah, I think this one is a coin with the Captain Marvel symbol. You get. Yeah.
I don't want a coin.
But I'll go over the weekend. Our review can be expected at the end of the weekend. And
I was gonna say, if you want to do a special Friday morning before you go to work, we can.
No, we can't.
No, I don't care. We could do one. We could do one late Thursday night if you want to get it out there as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I won't be going to the movies Thursday night.
No.
I'll catch it over the weekend, especially since the girlfriend wants to go, and she works late, on Long Island. So we'll go Saturday or Sunday. But really, there were really only like 2 pieces of news that were worth hitting. The first, they're making a Hulkamania biopic.
Yeah.
And do you know who's playing the Hulkster?
Yes.
Who is playing Hulk?
Thor. Chris Hemsworth.
Yes, he is. This is going to be interesting. I don't doubt that Chris Hemsworth could pull it off.
He's going to have to get jacked up.
Oh, yeah.
He's got to bulk up, not just jacked up. Hogan was like 275, 300 pounds in the heyday,
True, but, that was also, roids were allowed back then.
Yeah, but he was a big guy to begin with.
Yeah.
He was a fat kid, and he was always big, The roids are just so much. He was big.
Well, we've seen him get jacked up for Thor.
Yeah.
So, I think he could pull it off, if anybody can.
He's got to get that Fu Manchu going.
Oh, that's the best part. Chris Hemsworth.
It can't be fake. It's got to be authentic.
It is, and he's got to just dye it all blonde and
go
for it.
Yes, you got to go all in on it.
Oh yeah, brother. Because let me tell you something, Mean Gene.
Man, it's too bad Mean Gene's dead.
I know.
He could have been. He wouldn't have looked like he aged. They would have just been Mean Gene from the '80s. It would have been fine.
Yeah. Well, for the most part, Mean Gene looked the same for like 40
That's
years.
What I mean. Yeah, he looked the same. He would have been fine. No makeup. He could have just walked on set.
I don't know. Towards the end, he was looking a little.
The dude only had one kidney, so. But
True.
Man, until recently, he looked pretty damn good.
He was he is an icon as much as a lot of the wrestlers were.
Yes.
He was, to our generation, the voice of the WWF.
Right, he was.
Sure, you had like Jesse and Vince behind the table, Gorilla Monsoon, but
Mean Gene in the ring doing the interviews he asked the questions the fans were talking about, and he had those facial expressions. He was always like, he was always doing something. He sold the promo,
Yeah, He bought into it as much as the fans did
Yeah,
on
yeah,
stage, and that's what made him such a great interviewer.
yes,
And again, like we bought into him as much as we bought into the wrestlers,
definitely.
and that's what made him so iconic and was able to, you know, get these wrestlers over. I mean, that's why like Hogan brought Gene in because he
Yeah,
knew Gene made him look good.
yeah.
Like,
Bergman from the AWA.
oh yeah, and then he'd show up for a day or two, record everything, and come back a month later.
Nice.
So
So last week you asked me about something being propertied, to be made, and I really didn't have an answer of what something that I wanted to see.
mm-hmm.
And then this week I found out that one of my favorite TV programs of all time
Oh
uh,
yes,
was being optioned for as a horror movie, The Banana Splits.
yes.
And I have to say that anything that I've genuinely looked forward to as being made has sucked, and this will suck too. I mean, I'm not going to see it. Obviously, it's you're ruining the Banana Splits. I don't know what the point of doing it that way is.
Well, they're trying to buy into the whole Five Nights at Freddy thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't agree with it either. I mean, I want to say it's like being made straight to cable too. 'Cause I saw the same story, and I just don't remember who's making it or what.
it's like you had Dark Shadows, which should have been much different and would have been a hell of a lot bigger than what it was, and you make it a goofy comedy. Okay, you have something that is a goofy comedy, and you're making it a horror movie. It doesn't make sense. You had something that was horror, and you made it goofy comedy. Now you had something goofy comedy, and you make it horror, and then you're gonna be like, hey, these things, these properties, no, they don't draw.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, is it that they don't understand like the appeal of what the Banana Splits was?
Yeah, so they're just like, well, then fuck it. We don't understand it, so let's just make it whatever we want.
Exactly. Or they think that because it was 30 years ago, 30 to 40 years ago, they think the fans don't remember it. But
Right, but we have the internet now, so even if you don't remember it, you're able to find out what the hell it really was.
yeah. But we're also not going to be the target market for it because we are at least 2 to 3 times the age of that.
Yeah, but like, just remake it as a kid show. You know what I mean? I'm all for if you remaking something, make it in the same vein of what it was, though. If they remade the Banana Splits as a kid show with people dressing up in the get-ups and had the cartoon shorts, I'd be right there. I'd be watching it.
Well, yeah. I mean, and there are other Sid and Marty Krofft that would lean better towards horror, I think.
I don't know if they were Sid and Marty Krofft. They were Hanna-Barbera.
Why did I think they were among the Krofft? I think you're right. They're not. I don't know why I was thinking they were.
That's H.R. Puffin stuff and Sigmund and Sea Monster.
Yeah, it's just I associate them. I think
Yeah,
that's what it is.
yeah.
Because they were the same time period and the
Mhm.
same, Oh no, it is Sid and Marty Krofft.
Oh,
They
I
did
never
this
knew that.
first, yeah. 68 to 70.
What's weird is that theme park that opened up with the Banana Splits characters being the feature. Remember, it was on 2 episodes of the Brady Bunch. There was like a real theme park.
Oh, was there?
Yeah, and it was a failure. It was a dismal failure.
Okay. Oh, so it was Sid and Marty Krofft producing it for Hanna-Barbera.
Oh, okay. Oh,
With
okay.
Hanna-Barbera producing. So we're both right. And then Sid and Marty Krofft went off and did their own thing after that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why.
I used to have a VHS collection of the Sid and Marty Krofft stuff.
Yeah, I used to run home from school. Like, that was the best part of getting home. It's like
I love
on
that.
at like 2:30, 3 o'clock, and watch all these crazy ass puppet shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's nothing like it anymore.
No, I mean, well, they CGI things now. I mean, they CGI'd some of the Muppet stuff, so it's like,
Yeah. Well, Muppet Babies cartoon now is CGI.
Yeah, there's no craft. Well, Muppet Babies, was a cartoon.
Yeah.
But there was some stuff in that, like the Muppet movies, that was CGI'd, like those last two Muppet movies.
Yeah.
It's like, where's the craft to it? There's an art to that. Why are we taking that out?
Well, I liked the first of the new Muppet movies, the Jason
Yeah.
Segel one.
Yes.
It was very much. I mean, there was minimal CGI. There was. I'm not gonna say there was none, but
The second one definitely had more, and
yeah,
that seemed to like get away from the Muppets to me.
yeah. But also, I think I forget if it's just Jason Segel or other people as well dropped between the two movies.
Yeah.
But you had no Jason Segel, no Amy Adams,
Hmm.
you know, and it was just the plot was weak. So that's why we didn't see a third. I still think the Muppets are a viable property. I'd love to see more Muppets,
Me too.
but right now we are, you know, Muppetless. We are adrift in a sea that has no Muppets.
Hmm.
Maybe one day we'll see them again. But you know what we are seeing again?
What?
Bugs Bunny is coming back to theaters in a couple years
How are they
in
gonna this?
Space Jam 2.
Oh yeah, Space Jam too, and it's LeBron this time, right?
It is LeBron James instead of Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
The movie's going to make millions. I mean,
Of course it is. Of course it is.
between the nostalgia and, you know, the love of, the characters and
People have
basketball
been
and
asking
LeBron.
for this movie for a while now.
Oh, I agree. This has been rumored for years now. So it's just it's gonna be there's no way this is not making a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
My oldest nephew, his favorite movie when he was little was Space Jam
Yeah.
because he loved sports and he loved the original Bugs Bunny cartoons because I had them on DVD. So he and I used to
Okay.
watch them together. So when he was like 6, he discovered Space Jam, and I don't know if it'll appeal to him when he's like 18, but maybe his little brother.
But at the same time, they'll have that nostalgia for him, so he'll definitely go
Yeah,
check it out.
he might, if
Yeah,
he's
that's gonna be a big money movie.
yeah, it's the kind of thing he might go check out with his friends. So yeah, this is definitely going to be a money movie because again, also the generation that grew up on Space Jam have kids now,
Hmm.
and they're going to be like, "Oh, I should take my kids to this." It's going to be safe, family-friendly entertainment because it's Bugs Bunny,
Hmm.
so you know what kind of violence to expect, like cartoon violence. So it's just one of those things where it's just a printing press for money.
Definitely.
And really, those are the three stories we had for this week because it was such a slow week because of the Oscars. There's a couple. I'm sure there's a couple trailers that popped during the movie. I know like
The Lion King trailer.
Lion King, Captain Marvel. We have an
I don't.
update.
I don't need to see another Captain Marvel trailer. The movie comes out next week. I'm just gonna go see the movie.
Yeah, I'm ignoring them, but we do have a Best Picture winner.
um,
Would you like to guess?
I'm gonna go with my choice of A Star Is Born.
I'm afraid that you are incorrect.
Hmm.
The winner is Green Book.
Ah, Green Book. Okay, it was a nice movie.
It was one of those that looked interesting from the trailer, and I just never got around to seeing.
It
Um,
definitely it looked interesting.
so I'll catch it on cable or Netflix or one of those.
I was
But
hoping that Star Is Born would win. I knew it wouldn't. Then I figured Vice would win for the political overtones uh, in it. Without overtones, it was a political movie, and how it accurately depicted Dick Cheney. So I figured it was a shoe in. Never mind the absolutely marvelous performances done in the movie by everyone involved. So I figured that would have won.
I don't think it won a single award.
It won makeup.
Oh, okay, it won makeup.
It because again, the people who did the makeup on that movie, like I had no idea who I was watching. I was watching the real people. As far as I was concerned, it was flawless.
Yeah, I saw the trailer and I was blown away.
Yeah,
I just didn't catch it in the theater, so at this point, it's just wait for it to be at home. But you know, it's interesting that Green Book is what won. I mean, again, I didn't see it, but I know that the actors that are in it are fantastic.
The other thing is, I didn't think Star Wars Born was going to win because of the mental illness aspect, and mental illness is something in this country we don't want to deal with.
I don't know. It worked for Forrest Gump.
Nah, that wasn't mental illness. That was mental disability. That's different.
Okay.
He wasn't a crazy person. He didn't have an issue. He had illness.
All right. Good point. Good point. So, and on that note, it is time for the picks of hotness.
All right, I got a good one this week.
You got a good. I can't wait to hear it because I'm still playing. Was it Tactical from last week?
Tactical's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I'm having fun with it. I like that it's a 4-minute match. I can jump in, do something quick.
Oh, some of them are shorter. Some of them are shorter.
Well, that's if you hit 100 earlier. That's
then it's over.
But it maxes at 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So I know I can go in, quick hit, as long as I have good signal. That's the only thing. I cannot play it on the train because it's just dropping me out. But
no, man, it is a fun game. A fun little game like that. I mean, I dropped like $10 on it. You know, just to upgrade armor and upgrade weapon, just to make it a little bit more fun. Yeah, it's pretty fun. I like it.
Yes. So what do you got for me this week to play?
Now that I have a show that you can watch. It's DC Universe. Episode 1 of Doom Patrol. Such a fun show. I'm not overly familiar with the characters. I will admit that. My reading of the comic books back in those days, Doom Patrol days, or the '90s when it first started coming out, limited. It was a comic book I remember that wasn't readily available. It was just like Sandman at that time. I didn't you had introduced me to it because I never really knew it. It was really never on the shelves at the comic book store. And Doom Patrol was the same thing. I guess because of the Vertigo, label.
Yeah, Vertigo
wasn't everywhere.
They didn't in general sell as well. They sold to like that nerdy literature crowd.
Yeah. So episode 1 was really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Episode 2 is just as good.
I have to get it this week.
We'll do our review next week so we can be all caught up with the first 3 episodes.
Okay.
I didn't know if you'd seen it.
I have no idea what to expect. Going into it, and even now with episode 2, I still don't know what to expect.
I will say Alan Tudyk just steals the show.
What a great cast, though.
Yeah. Great cast, great writing, a lot of fun.
Steve the Pirate, the least box office draw, James Bond is in it, and Encino Man's in it. It's a kind of good cast.
Especially when you describe them like that.
Timothy Dalton. Who knows who Timothy Dalton is? He was in The Rocketeer, and he was in the 2 or 3 James Bond movies.
He was in Flash Gordon.
He was in Flash Gordon?
Yes. He was the leader of the Bird People.
Oh, I don't even remember. See, he's at, and it's not a fault on him. He's so lackluster of a personality that I don't realize I've even seen him in a movie.
At least he's not George Lazenby.
But and like I said, Steve the Pirate shows up.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, Steve the Pirate is the best part of the show.
Yeah.
Just because his meta voiceovers are just like, oh, it's another shitty show, you know it.
Yeah.
He's just like, yeah, it's just another shitty comic book adaptation. And you're just like, wow, way to sell the show that we're already watching. So, yeah, I loved it so far. I know I mentioned it last week, and I can't wait to see all 15 episodes.
Man.
So
now they're going to break it up just like they did with Young Justice.
I think that this one's going straight 15 through June.
Okay. Because let me tell you, that was a good way to make me buy the subscription plan for a year.
Well, I think it's going to be like where Titans did. Like, we had 10 episodes, and then there was a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Well, Young Justice didn't have a cliffhanger, but I was like, oh, where's the next episode?
Well, yeah, Young Justice said we're doing 26, and only gave you 13.
Yeah, like what the hell? It's like, oh, you gotta come back in 6 months. So like, wait, no, I gotta pay. I'm paying for this now.
I know. Well, you're paying for the year.
I paid for the year. I did pay for the year.
So between now and then, you'll get some Swamp Thing, which is filming. I think there's one more that I'm forgetting. But Young Justice will be back in June, so just in time for your summertime viewing. Probably around the time Doom Patrol ends. Just for the most part,
I'm going to be into my second. I'll have two classes going on at that point. One of them's going to be psychiatric pharmacology. I'm really not going to have time for a TV show at that point.
There's always time for TV shows.
I'm really dreading these classes.
No. Well, at least they're during the summer when, you'd want to go outside or something.
Yeah, yes. No, that's after during the summer. These classes start 2 a.m. today, or tomorrow rather, and Monday, and they go until May 2021. That's when they stop.
Well, you should really stop signing up for classes that take place at 2 in the morning.
Well, no, that's like when the calendar starts.
Oh.
The class like opens up. Like I could do school. I could have done schoolwork today, but it's not open yet for me to see the assignment. So now I worked Monday night, Tuesday night, and the assignments are due. Well, the first assignment's due Wednesday at noon. So Wednesday morning, when I come home from school, I come home from work, I could actually get the assignment turned in.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's the problem with online classes.
I know them well. I've taken quite a few. But if you need something to watch while waiting for that class, I got a hot pick for you.
What's that?
It's a Hulu, made for Hulu documentary. Well, I should start by asking, did you watch the Dana Carvey show like 20 years ago? Only lasted like 7 or 8 episodes.
I didn't remember Dana Carvey having a show.
Okay. Well, I remember watching this as, I guess, kid, teenager, whatever year. I don't remember what year. But there's a documentary on Hulu called Too Funny to Fail: The Life and Death of the Dana Carvey Show. And it's basically starts with, Dana leaving little lead up, and then Dana leaving Saturday Night Live, trying to figure out what he wants to do next, and decides he's going to do his own skit show, basically. And the guys he gets for this are some new guys, not very well known, like a couple Second City guys. Names like Robert Smigel, Steve Carell, Stephen Colbert, Louis C.K. Trying to think of this. Am I forgetting anybody? But,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so this is all their guys are like their first jobs. And it's hilarious, like, what they do. And it's so subversive that, like, people don't know what to make of it. It's a straight-up comedy show, and, some of it's very funny. Some of it misses its mark. But, it's just, this documentary was so great to see, like, what went into the show, how these guys, like, evolved it, how chaotic it was, and how fucked up it was, to the point where, their 8th episode never made it to air.
Oh, wow.
And some of the skits moved to Saturday Night Live when Dana hosted, like, months later.
Oh, wow.
Including the first appearance of the ambiguously gay duo.
Oh, no way.
So it actually aired on the Dana Carvey show, and then the show got canceled. Smigel became a writer at Saturday Night Live, resurrected it, and it ran and became famous from there.
Nice.
So it's just like this just chaos of these 8 or so guys and girls who just created this like really great comedy, and how it like got messed up by things like their lead-in was Home Improvement. And at one point of, towards the end, they're just talking about like how the lead-in screwed them at one point, where it was, Home Improvement, and they're showing this really touching promo for the show. Like, one of the kids is like, "Dad, am I gonna die?" And it's this really downer, like, very special episode. It's like Home Improvement at 8, followed by the Dana Carvey show at 8:30. And you're just like, and I just laughed out loud at that point. because it was just like they're so fucked to be this silly comedy show after this very important episode of Home Improvement.
But I mean, it should have been a great lead-in for them.
Well, they explained that in their first episode, which the first skit that goes to air is Bill Clinton talking about how he's going to work with the country and how he's going to breastfeed everyone. Like breastfeed babies and small animals. And he has a goose tail so he can lay eggs. And it's just this most bizarre thing. And like just the entire Home Improvement audience went click at the same time. And I'm just like, this is hilarious. And I remember watching some of these skits as a kid. And I'm just like, I love this. It's so chaotic. It's so fun. And it's unfortunate that it didn't get an audience. But the documentary is great because it really talks about it. And it's all these faces you know now who are like hugely famous.
Yeah.
And
that's like an all-star team right there.
Yeah. Again, Dana Carvey, Steve Carell, Stephen Colbert, Robert Smigel, and then a bunch of people you might recognize. Bill Hader is interviewed in it. One of the writers from Seinfeld and The Simpsons, who was at The Simpsons, went to Seinfeld, left Seinfeld to work on the Dana Carvey show.
Wow.
Spike, I'm going to screw up his name. Spike Ferriston. So Spike Ferriston left Seinfeld to do the Dana Carvey show.
Wow.
And, that didn't necessarily go well for him. But
no.
He got to be part of it.
Mm.
So that's my pick for this week.
Awesome.
And that is it for this week. The 100th episode of Geekodrome.
Mm-hmm.
So tune in and we'll catch another 100. If you can watch it all crash and burn live, just like the Dana Carvey show, on Twitch at Geekodrome. You can subscribe and listen to it. Comes directly to your ears a little later in the week on iTunes. Just search for Geekodrome. And if you want to hit us up on Twitter to, converse with us as we crash and burn, we're at Geekodrome Pod, on Facebook at Geekodrome Podcast. I am John. I am on Twitter at Just John. Stugots is at Don Stugots on Twitter, and he hosts the Eat Up Show on the Facebooks. So, until next week, we look to the skies. We point to that big WrestleMania sign. And we say we will see you next week.
I'm still pointing.